guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. As we are here on the 1st of January, I'm going to say it correctly. I'm looking at the calendar, 2022. I didn't mess it up to talk about WWE Day 1, but I'm not alone. I'm here with this side. Oh, in the clicks, baby Huey. What's going on, Huey?
What's up, Tim? Happy New Year, pal.
Right.
In honor of like Vince McMahon. And Happy New Year to all your listeners and viewers right now. But I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me on today.
Not a problem. Anytime. And I've already seen the people in the chat saying what happened to Nakamura and Zayn. Well, you guys are like Pat McAfee. Thought the match was announced for tonight, but it was never announced for tonight. Because Pat even said something about it. And Michael Cole goes, "Oh, that match ain't happening tonight, Pat."
And then he's like, "Oh, I gotta follow." He made like a quick little jab at himself.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, I need to follow the product or something."
I need to probably follow the product a little more closely. I saw some websites doing their preview, and they also put the Intercontinental title, Nakamura defending against Sami Zayn. I'm like, no, just look on WWE's website. It's not on the preview page. I get it. Sometimes they don't put everything up there, but it hasn't ever been up there. They just said, "Oh, by the way, Sami gets a future shot." That's all they've ever said. So that match was never, it wasn't that match also got pulled, because I had someone ask me, like message me on Instagram and go, "Hey, did they pull Sami Zayn and Nakamura? One of them sick? Did something happen?" I go, no. That match was never scheduled for tonight. I don't want to assume anything, but it just wasn't set for tonight. And so the person was like, "Oh, well, that's a reliever then." Because I mean, nowadays, if you assume something's going to happen and you don't see it, you assume someone's got COVID.
Yeah, oh, exactly. I mean, that's just kind of the hysteria that we all live in right now, and the paranoia.
I mean, I guess we should just start off with talking about that, the Roman Reigns issue. Roman Reigns, and I'm going to be very vague with this because we don't know a lot. Roman Reigns, at 3:07 p.m. Pacific time, sent out a tweet, and I'll read the tweet right here. Let's see. Let me find it really fast. Take me 2 seconds. It's the last thing he tweeted. Oh, John Moxley versus Homicide for the GCW title in Hammerstein Ballroom. Interesting.
Nice.
That should be a good match. Also, that's
Violent
end of January. I guess they know more than we do about if Moxley's going to be good to go by then.
Yeah, exactly.
Roman Reigns tweeted out at 3:07 p.m. Pacific, "I yearn to perform tonight at WWE Day 1 to defend my Universal Championship. However, unfortunately, earlier today, I tested positive for COVID-19. Due to the proper protocols, I am unable to compete as originally scheduled. I look forward to returning to action as soon as possible." Now, at that exact same moment, WWE sent out their tweet saying that Brock Lesnar has been moved to the WWE title match and that Roman Reigns tested positive for COVID and this and that. So I thought it was funny. I was talking to Huey about this. I thought it was funny that WWE kept going, "Yeah, earlier today, Roman Reigns, posted on social media that he tested positive for COVID. And so we had to send out a press release here at WWE to let everybody know what's going on." And I'm like, you sent out a tweet from your account and Roman's account at the same time. Okay, cool. Anyways, I don't know anywhere they got the press release, because if media outlets would have got the press release, they would have, posted a screenshot, because that's what we all do. You get a press release, you screenshot it, you put it up on your social media. I didn't see anybody do that.
Kayfabe, man.
Yeah.
Kayfabe. They gotta work us right now.
Oh, they're working us with Drew McIntyre. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. Cervical this and that, and I don't even know. A lot of trying to use big words. But with that, we've got Day 1 to talk about. And I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and Twitter.com/PWU Unlimited. Remember, if you are watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by either hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, if you are watching here, you can subscribe to the channel one of two different ways. You could be like Rosario9248 did last week and subscribe with the tier 1 subscription. They've done it. I don't know if it's a he or she, but they've done it for 10 months now. And I appreciate that. But if you say, "Hey, I don't got that, but I'm paying for Amazon Prime," well, you can use that as well. With Amazon Prime, you get a bunch of free stuff, like free games, which I haven't seen what new free games are out yet for the new month. But you get free games, stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to. And I greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to us right here. Also, on the flip side, If you're watching on YouTube, you can help us out there with a super chat or a super sticker donation in the live chat, or by subscribing, hitting that join button down below, and becoming a channel member. Finally, the last way you can help us out that doesn't cost you anything extra is the Epic Games Store. Go to the Epic Games Store and use the code PW Unlimited at checkout when it says, do you have a creator code? You do. It's PW Unlimited. With that, whenever you're buying anything in Fortnite, whether that's in the Epic Games Store or on the Fortnite game, same thing with Rocket League, or buying a game, whether that's Guardians of the Galaxy or Riders Republic, just put in the code PW Unlimited. But not even just that. If you're on your computer and you see where it says these games are free right now, you can put the code in there and still support us that way. And right now, every of the new Tomb Raider games, Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, are all free right now on the Epic Games Store. So go over there, claim all those free Tomb Raider games, put in the code PW Unlimited, and help us out. Again, doesn't cost you anything or anything extra if you're already buying something over there on the Epic Games Store. But with that, a question to you, did you watch the pre-show?
I actually did. I tuned in.
Did you see the pre-show match?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, so I tuned in for that one. And
there's a lot of hiccups on the pre-show. Production hiccups.
Yeah. Even like, was it Kayla a couple times didn't know what was going on the screen. And then
like she thought they were going to. I felt like she thought they were going to send it to one thing. They sent it to something else. So Kevin Patrick was just like, whoop, I got it.
And then Booker T just said, boom. He kept like saying, he just kept jumping in, yelling at over them, like, boom, like, look at that move. Oh my God. So give him credit trying to fill in some dead air right there.
But on the pre-show, we did have a tag team match. It was Sheamus and Ridge Holland against Cesaro and Ricochet. Match went almost 10 minutes. And in 3-4 minutes in, it became a handicap match.
Exactly.
So early on in this match, Ridge Holland and Ricochet were in the ring, and then Cesaro comes in and they start double teaming Ridge Holland, and Cesaro like flips Ricochet. He does like a front flip thing. I don't know what he was supposed to do, like a standing 450 maybe. And he like I don't know if he over or under rotated or anything, because I'm not sure exactly what he was supposed to do. Maybe it was a leg drop. I don't know. But he ends up kicking Ridge Holland in the face. He disappears, Ridge Holland, and Michael Cole just goes, "Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, our medical staff at ringside is checking out Ridge Holland for a possible broken nose." And they go, hold on. They're actually acknowledging that someone actually got hurt? Not like after the fact that they had to be pulled out of the match, like during. And Pat's like, well, good thing we don't have these. He's like, he says something like, well, we don't have these doctors and stuff out here for nothing. And something along those lines, or these medical personnel out here for nothing. And I'm like, okay. And so they start talking, like, Sheamus may have to go this match alone. And then, like, a couple minutes later, Michael Cole again, they're still checking out Ridge Holland. Looks like they're going to take him to the back. We'll have an update for you if we know anything else. A couple minutes later, I'm just getting word, Ridge Holland being checked in the back for what we believe is a possible broken nose and will not be returning to the match. And I'm like, 2022, what the heck is going on?
I know that's the crazy thing is, like, usually when there's something that doesn't happen or that happens off script, like an actual accident or some sort of injury, they just try to like cut away from the camera and just don't acknowledge it. And us fans are kind of like scrambling, like, what's going on? We go to Twitter and try to get people's reactions, see if anyone's reporting on anything here. So yeah, the fact they were just so blatantly telling us what happened was like, oh, okay, that's kind of refreshing to hear.
Right. And I was just like, I'm sitting here going, okay, is this a Vince directive? Did somebody else say, hey, make mention of this? Because yes, and since Saturday in the Twitch chat mentions this, and I was going to get to that as well. Yes, there was blood in the ring, but we've seen that before where people get busted open, there's blood in the ring, and they don't make any mention of, hey, blood. And they didn't say like there's blood in the ring, but they did state that it looks like he got a broken nose. They cut to a replay like 3 times to show it in slow-mo, which again also shocked me. Again, mentioning it, cool. But then saying, here's a spot where he may have broke his nose. We'll show you a couple times. Like, dang.
Let's slow it down. Yeah. Right here. Point of impact right here. Look at his nose been right here.
And they showed it later in the show as well. Like, hey, if you missed the pre-show, hey, guess what? Ridge Holland broke his nose. Here's what happened. Like, okay, cool. Didn't even say that, oh, Sheamus ended up winning the match on his own. They just said, hey, Ridge Holland busted his nose by Ricochet's boot. But as far as the matches go, it's a pre-show match that went almost 10 minutes long. Once it became a handicap match, it was all right. Sheamus slowed the pace down at one point with the chin lock. Ricochet tried fighting back. Cesaro hit a flying crossbody at one point for a near fall. He gave Sheamus a giant swing into a sharpshooter. Sheamus fought out, made it to the bottom rope. Sheamus then caught Cesaro with a knee, and Ricochet broke up the pin. Finish came down where Ricochet sent Sheamus to the floor and attempted a plancha. Sheamus caught Ricochet and hit the white noise. Sheamus then jumped off the top rope, but Cesaro caught him with an uppercut. The finish then came when Cesaro missed a tackle in the corner. Sheamus hit the brogue kick and pinned him to pick up the victory. So, Sheamus and Ridge Holland, I guess they're trying to build him up as an actual team, which I'm not against.
Yeah, so this match was just fascinating to me just because when something like an accident happens and the wrestlers gotta make an audible and make a call on the fly and like change up the whole probably script of what the match how was gonna go down. So it was interesting. And even like I noticed like the ringside camera, they were focusing on him, and up close you saw Cesaro and Sheamus, and you could clearly see Cesaro just kind of like whispering stuff into Sheamus's ear, and looks like they were just trying to like, okay, how we're gonna get out of this situation right now, and so just kind of call it on the fly at that point. And I know Sheamus is a heel right now, but he definitely gave like a strong performance as far as he was in the handicap position here. So I just kind of wondered. You would have thought, okay, the two baby faces should have won here. Like it's 2-on-1. They had the advantage. They should have won here. So the fact Sheamus still won, I guess for WWE, they're like, regardless if Ridge was injured or not, I think the plan was he was supposed to win here.
Yeah, stick to the plan.
Yeah, so it's just kind of interesting to me. It's like, could they have maybe called another audible and maybe somehow Ricochet fake an injury and step away from the match?
Not a bad idea.
Sheamus and Cesaro 1-on-1, former bar teammates, tag team meets.
They let us know that plenty of times during that match.
Yeah. So anyway, it was just an interesting situation here. Just like I said, to make an audible and a call on the fly and try to recover here and like, okay, how we're gonna get to our finish here. So to me, that's always fascinating. Just seeing these wrestlers, work on their toes and trying to resolve it here.
Being able to move on the fly, I guess they call it. Call stuff on the fly and be like, hey, we're going to do this and this and this and this instead. And be able to do it to where it felt seamless. It didn't seem like anybody missed a step or anybody was like, oh, crap, what do we do next? It really just felt like they just kept on going with what they were going to do. I mean, for all we know, maybe Holland was supposed to be limited in the match anyways because he's so green.
Exactly. But no, I love Sheamus, though. It's just... for the last, year and a half plus, or almost 2 years now, if you really think about it, including the pandemic, he's just been one of the really strong workhorses for WWE, having hard-hitting physical matches with everyone over the last, think about the last 2 years with everyone he's had different feuds with on Raw and SmackDown, respectively. So Sheamus, he's the unsung MVP, I think, for them, and just being a strong, legit, credible veteran for that roster. And so this is a situation here, like it didn't phase him that Ridge Holland was gone. So he still worked the whole match by himself. So I give huge kudos and props to Sheamus here.
Right. And so going forward, also the Sheamus thing, I think it's Pat that says all the time, Sheamus may be one of the most underrated superstars we have today. He's like, he's always like, listen to all of his accomplishments. He's won everything. Which technically Sheamus has. I mean, what has he not won? The titles in NXT?
I think so. That's not. Yeah, I think that's the only one.
Because he's won the WWE title. Well, Universal title, but he's at least won a world title multiple times.
Yeah,
but he hasn't won the Universal.
Correct, but he didn't he post on Instagram within the month like all his titles. He was like standing in his underwear or something, and he was posing for all his titles or something. I saw that on his I think Instagram not too long ago. So just showing all the accomplishments he's done. And Tim, you remember when I talked to him at SummerSlam at the press junket, he mentioned that it's a little frustrating to him that he felt he didn't get enough credit during like the Thunderdome era or the closed set era of WWE during the pandemic, that a lot of people were not acknowledging him in his matches. So he knew he had to go out there and still deliver. And, you know, part of his whole, like, you know, he like this renaissance of his career. It's for him, he really just took a lot of pride in his performance and having these hard-hitting matches. And so I think a lot of people were saying, oh, this person was the MVP of the Thunderdome. So it shows WWE superstars definitely pay attention to what fans say online. So the fact he said he wished more people acknowledged him as like an MVP of the Thunderdome era.
So Sheamus has also not won the IC title.
He hasn't?
According to his Wikipedia, 3-time WWE champion, 1-time World Heavyweight champion, 3-time US champion, 4-time Raw Tag champ, 1-time SmackDown Tag champ, King of the Ring, Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, some Slammies, and a year-end award, but never won the IC title. And of course, we knew he hadn't won the Universal.
Interesting. Well, knowing WWE, they'll give him like a quick IC title reign probably at some point.
Eventually.
In the next, like, 2-3 years. Yeah. Bank on that.
Oh, and the Observer named him most improved in 2010.
Yes, I just saw that here too. Okay.
Nice.
Right on.
And in 2012, he was ranked number 5 by PW Illustrated.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. But with that, we go forward with the main card. Michael Cole and them tell us yet again, hey, Roman Reigns isn't here. That's positive for COVID. Brock Lesnar. And I liked this move. They said Brock Lesnar has demanded he get added to the WWE title match. Because if you think about it, in storyline, Brock flew his ass from Canada to Atlanta, got off that farm to what? Sit around to watch other people fight? Brock's still going to want to fight.
He put his hair bun in his hair. He's ready to go, man.
Right?
He didn't fly across the country not to have his hair bun up in his head, you know, ready to go. So he's ready to come for fights. So no, I'm with you. That's I respect that as far as like, yeah, man, he's a natural born fighter. Like that's his instinct. So he's like, all right, well, my title match is, you know, off the books right now, but hey, there's still a WWE championship. Just put me in there. And so,
exactly.
Yeah. So that total babyface move on his part.
And like he said, when Kayla asked him later, he's like, hey, what was the motive you wanted to be put in this match? He's just like, I'm a free agent. I can fight for anything, and I want to be a champion.
And he said, courtesy.
Say it.
Courtesy of my advocate, Paul Heyman.
And I love how he did the Brawl Heyman line where he's like, I'm Brock Lesnar. Like, took the mic from Kayla.
Which it makes you wonder, like, I mean, we all love this current babyface run of Brock Lesnar, and he's doing a lot of solo promos in the ring on SmackDown. It's like, it makes you wonder, why hasn't he done more promos over the years?
Do you remember the Brock Lesnar Kurt Angle stuff on SmackDown from 2003?
Oh, absolutely. That stuff was gold.
Most infamously, the milk jug incident.
Well, I mean, the segment, right? Them backstage drinking, and
where Kurt's trying to talk to some girl backstage or whatever. He drinks the milk, and Brock walks up and like taps him on the back. He spits all over the girl. Yeah, Brock was great in that segment.
Oh, absolutely. Like, he's so underrated. I think, you know, with his performance on camera. I mean, we've seen at UFC, the guy can cut some like legit, you know, promos against his opponent, help selling the match. So it makes you wonder why they didn't do that more in WWE. Now, granted, like I said, he was always like a heel and working with Paul Heyman. Exactly. So, you know, when you got Paul Heyman, of course, out of the two, you want to give it to him to do the promos and whatnot. But hey, I'm glad we're getting it now. You know, it enough times passed, so I think at this point we can really appreciate his performance on the microphone right now.
And I mean, even when he was with Heyman, we still sometimes saw him on the mic himself. Like, remember the R-Truth segment? The boombox.
Boombox and Money in the Bank briefcase.
The R-Truth segment where R-Truth legit made Brock break character and start laughing.
Oh, man.
Did you hear Truth talk about that when he got interviewed by Ryan Satin?
No,
where he was like, they told me to go out there and try to make him laugh. I didn't know if I should have, but then I just did it, and Brock Lesnar started laughing and was cool with it.
Okay.
So he said something along those lines, but it was,
Yeah, that's cool.
He said Brock laughed when he said something about Paul Heyman being fat or something like that. But he said, you're big, and he's like, I'm not talking about you, Brock. And Brock like looks at Heyman and just starts busting up laughing.
Oh, that's great. Oh man, our truth is a national treasure, man. He's
Right.
so good.
So
Yeah,
as we
yeah,
move
yeah.
forward, we go to the main card and we kick it off with a
Hmm.
17-minute SmackDown Tag Team title match. It's the Usos versus the New Day. And I mean, we've seen this match 3 times in the last month already. What, since Survivor Series? So it's like, why should we care about this match? I did not think the titles would change hands, and the titles did not change hands. It's just weird. It's like, why should we care when we just had, it was at the Staples Center, which is now, as of yesterday, no, last weekend, the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, which that's going to get some
Hmm.
getting used to. Anyways,
Yeah.
so we had the triple threat. It was the New Day versus RK Bro versus the Usos. And then what was it, like a week later or 2 weeks later on SmackDown, just straight up for nothing, the Usos versus the New Day, even though this match had already been announced. And so my thing is, why should I care about this match if we've already seen it in a couple different iterations over the last month?
Oh yeah, and that's, I mean, obviously that's an ongoing issue with WWE creative. It's the when a feud is established and going through the motions, by the time it gets to the actual pay-per-view, I think a lot of times it could be pretty burnt out because they in many ways do it on free TV on
Mhm.
USA or Fox so often. And to me, it's like it gets a little frustrating because it's like, come on, I've seen this already so many times. And granted, Usos New Day always put on
Oh, yeah.
great matches together. They have amazing chemistry. You can argue they're probably each other's best
Mhm.
rivalry as far as tag teams go. But we've seen them go at it so many times over the years. I mean, I would love to know what's happened more often: New Day versus the Usos or Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. You know what I mean? As far as like rivalries that happen so much over and
Mhm.
over. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I saw on Twitter a lot of people were saying as long as the matches are great, it doesn't matter how often they face each other, which I get, but to a certain extent, like I don't want to get burnt out though.
Yeah.
Like I want these to be special, not as you said, see this in a combo or see it 3 times over the last month or so. And we saw it last year, didn't? Yeah, they had the WrestleMania match last
Mhm.
year, or last year at the Thunderdome. It's like they always have a program like every year. Like I'm trying to think how many times probably over the last 7 years
Oh,
since the
yeah.
New Day's been a thing. So
But it's, go
it's a
for it.
lot.
Go. So
No, it's a lot.
yeah, and it's not even like, so here's my thing with this. Like, I would have been cool if, like, one week we got Woods versus Jay, and another week it was Kofi versus Jimmy. But no, we straight up got this match main eventing SmackDown a few weeks ago. The exact same match, Usos versus the New Day. And it's just like, not even, they didn't even try to, like, give us a variation. Like, they did give us one variation with the triple threat tag
Mhm,
match. But they,
mhm.
like I said, legit just gave us this match. It wasn't even, like I said, like one week they should have done Jimmy versus Kofi and then Jay versus Woods or something. But no.
I'm just trying to think, how can they do a better job of keeping wrestlers apart from each other and just build up that anticipation so when the pay-per-view actually happens and they come to blows, it has more of a stronger impact.
Well,
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
trying to think like back in the day.
Well, like I said,
So
with the tag team thing, you split them off. There's 2 singles matches. There you go. You do one week, one next week. There's 2 matches in 2 weeks. You don't have to book. They're booked for you.
yeah.
And then as far as like singles feuds and stuff and how not to accidentally do those matches early, I mean, you can have people interfere, like a heel interferes in a babyface's match, or make them
Hmm.
find partners to team against each other. I don't know, but it's just when we've already seen the match and it wasn't like, oh, they did the match back in the summer and they're doing it again now. They did it like 2 weeks ago when they said Roman wasn't on SmackDown, and then 5 minutes after the show went off the air, Roman came out and did a live event or a dark
Yeah.
match.
Yeah. 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 He was on
They're
a
like Roman's not,
vacation, right?
yeah, like Roman's not here. He's training in Samoa. He's on the island.
No, it's just interesting. Like that's just kind of WWE's booking, and partly you can say that's kind of lazy booking as far as when 2 tag teams are going at it. It's like, okay, we have a pay-per-view every 4 weeks, so it's
Mhm.
like the first week is just them maybe having an in-ring promo. Then the second week it's like one guy versus another guy, and then the second following week it's the other tag team member versus the other tag team member, and then they have some go off segment for the go home show for the pay per
Mhm.
view. So it's kind of like the fact that you and I can just easily spell that out. It just shows how often they go to the well
Yes.
for that and do that type of booking, for tag teams or just a lot of the different scenarios and the different mid card or main event or whatever type of matchup they have here. So it's just I wish WWE would just figure out a way to kind of freshen things up. Granted, I know they have a lot of television to fill up every single week between Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and whatnot, but I just feel like, well, they did have a bigger roster, but I feel like there's different ways to keep things fresh and like have the opponents not touch each other until the actual pay-per-view, so that when they do square off, it means something more.
And I don't want to take anything away from the match because I thoroughly enjoyed the match.
Yeah.
I really thought it was a great match to open the show. I thought this was really good. And I did like how early on they split up the title matches, like title match, non-title match, title match, non-title match, and then 2 title matches. I did like that they did that as well. So it's not like, everything's got the stakes all early, and then all of a sudden the main event's at the end, and they give us like and nothing against like Drew and Madcap or Edge and Miz, but it's like, give us we don't care about them matches later because there's no stakes, even though we could get a good little deal in the Edge and I think the Edge and I'll talk about this here soon. I think the Edge and Miz match kind of went and then right at the end came back up.
Yes, exactly.
There was a good lull in that Edge Miz match for a while when it was like, I don't even know what's going on in the ring. I just keep seeing Maurice trying not to slip on these boots. So she's like walking very timidly in these damn heels.
Yes, I thought, did she roll her ankle coming down to the ring?
Yes, and Miz laughed at her.
Yeah,
right when the metal hits the padding, I think.
Yes, exactly. That little connector.
And then Miz looks at her and goes, ha ha ha. And she kind of like gave him a look and they kept walking. But I felt like, and we're not even close to that match yet, but that match focused a little too much on Maurice.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think with the ending, it kind of makes sense but now.
At the same time, it's kind of just like, I felt like the cameras were looking at her almost more than they looked at the action in the ring.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
As far as the tag title match here with the Usos and the New Day, I thought this match, again, it's the Usos and the New Day. This match can never be bad, to be completely honest. No matter what iteration it is, whether it's a ladder match, whether it's a Hell in a Cell, whether it's just a straight-up match with the titles on the line or not. And this match was really good. Early on, Jimmy mimicked Reigns with a Superman punch. They then did the Rikishi splash in the corner. And I like how Michael Cole goes, they're honoring their father Rikishi with that splash in the corner. And Pat goes, but Cole, he also did Roman's Superman punch signal thing right before saying, hey, Tribal Chief, we got this. I like that. I like that they brought notice to that and they did that and everything. But then he goes for a second splash and misses it. Kofi briefly fought back and the Usos regained control. Woods got the hot tag and went wild on Jimmy for a little while. He hit a rolling clothesline and hit a drop kick as well. Woods then hit a side Russian leg sweep on Jimmy. Jimmy and Jay did eventually fight back and get Woods with some assisted, it's a hard word to say, assisted Samoan drop for a close near fall. Kingston Tag didn't hit a double foot stomp for a near fall. Jimmy at one point attacked Kingston's leg and locked in a half crab. Kingston did make it to the ropes to break the hold. Woods then dragged Jimmy out of the ring, and Kingston scored several near falls on Jay, which I never noticed Jay actually tag himself in because I thought like Jimmy got pulled out by Woods, but I never saw the tag, so maybe I just missed that. Kingston hit an SOS for another close near fall. New Day hit their backbreaker foot stop combo for a near fall. Fans broke into a loud "This is awesome" chant close towards the end of the match. We also got a New Day rocks chant. Both teams then squared up in the middle of the ring and they started trading shots. Then an interesting finish here that I thought I never saw coming. I don't think anyone saw coming. The Usos caught Kofi with a super kick and then hit the 3D, or as Pat McAfee alerted us, the 1D. They hit the 3D. What? Are we getting the Usos versus the Dudley Boys?
Final run from them.
But I thought Devon said on his podcast recently that he's done in ring.
Yeah. Does he still work for WWE behind the scenes?
I believe so.
Okay.
Here's my thing, and this is probably way too premature. I think I heard that his kids were at the last tryout. The
Really?
Usos versus Devon's boys. I doubt it. I'm probably way off on a limb here. Like, they're probably not main roster ready at all. And most people probably don't know who they are. But here's the thing with that. Twins versus twins.
I mean, hell, if you put them in NXT, they'll put them on TV within like a month of their signing now, the way that's going down there.
True, but they do have like a year or two of experience already on the indies and stuff.
Yeah.
So
didn't they do some AEW dark match or
I believe
dark
so.
shows?
I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe so.
Okay, cool.
So they've got experience more than a lot of these people they're signing or trying to sign. So
yeah,
now with that new NIL deal, they're just signing anybody with any kind of athletic background.
And that's the thing. It's like the Dudley or Devon's boys, they're working indie scene. So it's like, is that a bad thing for them? The fact that they're working on independent scene versus just not
I don't think
up right
so.
in the performance center.
I don't think so, because Braun Breaker did do at least. So everyone doesn't. Most people don't know this, but he's got 1 or 2 indie matches before coming to WWE.
Yes, if you look online, his uncle Scott came to the ring with him and used the sirens and everything. So, yeah.
So in 2020, in April of 2020, he got signed undrafted to the Baltimore Ravens. In August, they released him. By October, he had his first match.
Yes.
So most people don't know that. Everyone's like, oh, he's had 5 matches in WWE. Yeah, but he also had 1 or 2. I know of 2 for sure that he had.
I saw one. Yeah, I saw one with Scott coming out with him, like as his manager and stuff. So
Yeah.
I saw that one. So he does just a tiny little bit of experience outside of WWE's Performance Center.
Which still, even before having that first match, that's like not much time to train. I mean, he got released by the Ravens in August, and by October, he had his first match. So
shows how just a natural I think he is, and just picking it up and just already doing an amazing job.
I think McIntyre was asked about him in a recent interview and said, oh, that guy's going to be main eventing soon. He's going to be main eventing big WWE shows soon.
I was talking with my brother the other day. It's like, how long do you think before he becomes maybe WWE champion? 2 years, 3 years? It's kind of interesting. If all the stars align for him in his career, I'm sure Vince sees big dollars with him.
Oh yeah.
Just so that's something to keep your eye on. I think for Braun Breaker.
Honestly, I think if he doesn't win the Rumble this year, he stays in NXT for another year, makes his debut on the main roster in the Rumble next year, wins it, goes to Mania, wins the belt.
Wow. I was kind of thinking maybe, he wins against Ciampa this coming week.
Well, that's got to happen. If he loses this week, it's done. Fans are going to be like, oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But isn't the draft in October? I wonder if he gets drafted in October to Raw or SmackDown. That's what I'm kind of thinking.
I mean, possible.
So yeah, I mean, I think either October or next January could be his call up at some point in that 3-month window.
But I mean, even so, I think they can put him in the Rumble this year, give him like 10 eliminations.
Oh, absolutely.
We always get a couple NXT guys, unless the spot that was, and I'll talk about this in a minute. The spot that was earmarked for him went to Johnny Knoxville. People pissed about that.
I was just going to say, unless Johnny Knoxville took his spot.
Sure, we'll talk about it right now. So, this morning, Johnny Knoxville posts on Instagram that he wants to enter the Royal Rumble. And I go, well, this is interesting. He was just at SmackDown a couple weeks ago when they were in LA. He did the thing with RK Bro. Is this legit? WWE didn't make any mention of it on social media all day. And then all of a sudden, we're watching this pay-per-view, and they go, by the way, Jackass Forever comes out soon, and one of their stars, Johnny Knoxville, has a little message for the WWE Universe as it pertains to the Royal Rumble. And I go, wait, they're making this official? And they played his Instagram video. Okay, of course, clips from it, not the whole thing. But him saying that he wants to be in the Royal Rumble. He wants to become a world champion and all this. And I saw so much hate online. He's taking a spot from an active roster member that could have shined. It's predetermined. What? He took a spot from Truth Tozawa or Reggie? that wasn't going to
Yeah.
win anyways or go in and be eliminated in 20 seconds?
Yeah, and that's the thing is, keep in mind, we know WWE likes working with other companies for
Mhm.
promo, especially for movies, as we saw with the zombies and whatnot and the
Right.
egg. So it's like it makes sense because Royal Rumble is going to be the last weekend in January,
Mhm.
which before I forget, talk about the name of that show and the graphic.
Oh, yeah.
But but keep in mind, so it's and then Jackass Forever comes out February 4th. So
Something
within a
like that,
few
yeah.
days, a few days after
Like that
that,
next
after the Royal
week.
Rumble. So it makes perfect timing. Johnny Knoxville
Mhm.
comes out to the ring, does a funny spot, and then they promote Jackass at the same time. So it's it's perfect synergy right
I
there
think
between
it's
WWE and mainstream.
I think it's nothing to get all hot and bothered about. But people are like, "Oh my god, they're bringing in Johnny Knoxville when you can give that spot to somebody else that can shine in the Rumble." And I go, "Okay." And in the tweet I sent out, I used those examples: Tozawa, Reggie, Truth. The no offense, 24/7 guys that'll probably last 30 seconds in the Rumble anyways. Reggie will
And be
run in,
forgotten about.
flip over somebody, turn around, and then get thrown out or something.
Yeah, absolutely. You know they're going to forget about it. I mean, how many people remember all 30 competitors and how much they were in the ring and stuff?
Exactly.
You know, the top guys, the guys who are going to be favored to win, John Knoxville's not taking their spot, so it's no reason to panic. And if WWE can make some extra money from this partnership with
Mhm.
Jackass and the movie studios,
Exactly.
whatever, it's win-win for them, for WWE. So it makes total sense. Now, I just want to know though, as the rest of the cast, Jackass Forever are going to be ringside like they were with that Raw years ago.
Well, I mean,
So I'm buddy.
they were all backstage at Smackdown in LA.
That's right. So, I'm buddies with Steve-O, so I was gonna text him and be like, "Hey, man, are you gonna be at the Royal Rumble and support Johnny Knoxville?" So, I should find out. I should text him later and ask him
I
about
think
that.
there needs to be a spot though where Riddle's already in the match. Johnny Knoxville comes out and Riddle's like, "Whoa, bro," and Knoxville's like, "Bro," and they do like a bro thing back and forth for like a minute, and then that leads to like Riddle getting thrown out because he's like all mystified that Johnny Knoxville's in the match, and Johnny Knoxville has to do his little nut grab thing that he talked about on SmackDown a couple weeks ago.
I just
To
wonder, will
somebody.
Johnny get any eliminations? Will he actually eliminate someone
I
in the match?
Truth.
That's a good betting on. Yeah, truth. Yeah, truth.
Maybe he
Or
eliminates Riddle. No
yeah,
one.
exactly.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it, especially if like Riddle does the whole like sees him and goes, "Bro, no way, you're in the match," and he's like, "Well, yeah, they announced me weeks ago," and then he throws him out.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I wonder what's gonna wear, his outfit.
right, probably that shirt that he was wearing today, future world champion. But you alluded to something about what they
Mhm.
now call pay-per-views. So WWE, if I can pull it up here,
Mhm.
let's see, wrong screen. WWE has a new buzzword or buzz phrase. As we know in WWE, you can't say hospital, it's got to be local medical facility. You can't say
Mhm.
title belt, it's championship belt. Well, now, apparently, you can't say pay-per-view. This is the graphic they showed tonight for the Royal Rumble. And look down here. Let me switch to this one. It is now called, and they said this so much tonight, Premium Live Event. On the pre-show, I don't know how many times they called day one a premium live event. Then in the first 5 minutes of the main show, and granted, 3 to 4 of that, 3 of that was a video package, they said premium live event 3 times in like 2 minutes. And Pat McAfee was like, because I was confused at first when they go, "Oh, this is WWE's first premium live event of 2021." And I go, "What did I miss earlier today then where it was a regular event, not premium? The bump?" And so they're now calling us so I guess now you can't say pay-per-view, a WWE pay-per-view. Now it's a WWE premium live event. And I get it. They don't do traditional pay-per-view anymore. Everything is streaming on Peacock for the most part. But they do still put their shows available on pay-per-view for those people that can't stream it. Because I know, like, where I grew up, our internet may have just barely been good enough to stream shows and stream stuff. Like I moved away from there right before the Netflix era of streaming everything happened. That's when right before I moved to the military and got sent to Texas and stuff. But if you were to drive 30 minutes more north, oh no, their internet not good. The more you go up the hill, towards Yosemite, the worse the internet connection and stuff gets.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I was from I don't know if you've ever been to Yosemite, but from the entrance of the South Gate, I grew up an hour away from it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, the closer you got up in Yosemite, less cell service you had, and there was like barely internet. And a lot of people didn't want to pay for it because what I pay for high-speed Comcast is what you pay for their slow. And their slow is their one speed.
Yes.
Like, we didn't have cable. We didn't have a cable company. You had to have Dish Network or DirecTV to have television unless you wanted to try to get rabbit ears. And even that, we were 45 minutes away from town. So we had to, like, really try to make these ears work.
Yeah. Oh my God. You're taking me back just thinking about all back in my day, we had to do this and that to stream or, just download. I mean, I grew up obviously dial-up internet.
I mean, we had internet because we were in a good area, but it's like whenever someone went to town, like, hey, we're running to Walmart. Does anybody need us to pick something up? Because I know you're probably not going to go into town for a week. Granted, my dad worked in town, so he literally worked by Walmart, so we didn't have that issue. But there's other people that literally they went to town like every other week. The closest grocery, like we had a grocery store, but they knew that they were the only grocery store within 30 minutes, so they jacked up all their prices. Everything at this grocery store was $2 to $3 more than if you were to go to like Vons or Save Mart in town. So it's like they knew what they were doing.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a field trip for them.
Then we got the casino. Then we got the casino, and they brought a Dollar General, and that changed everything.
A Dollar General, that's awesome.
I think there's a Sonic up there now too by the Dollar General. That casino started bringing in more and more revenue and opportunities for jobs and stuff. So, anyways, back to the pay-per-view. We had Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. They went 9 minutes and 40 seconds. And this match really shouldn't have gone more than 5. And that's still giving it maybe a little too much. And the match was all right, but it just dragged and was boring. Very.
Yeah, it's I think just kind of looking on Twitter and stuff, a lot of people's reaction, like the consensus was, this went on a lot longer than it needed to be. Madcap, who's just been more of the goofball sidekick for Happy Corbin, and Drew McIntyre is a former 2-time WWE champion. So you would think it would be not necessarily a squash, but a very short match, just because they're both at different levels of hierarchy within WWE. But I think considering Roman's not there, so they're technically one last match scheduled for the pay-per-view. So I think they probably thought just go out there, go an extra 5 minutes. Just it's filler. But unfortunately, it comes off.
That's what I thought as well. They needed to stretch time. Because they lost a match that probably was going to go 5 to 8 minutes, maybe 10 at the most. I didn't think Roman and Brock would go more than. Well, actually, hold on. How long did the match? The last match.
Jewel.
Yep, you're thinking the same thing I am.
that's our what do you call it? Barometer or indicator of how long?
12:20.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because I would have said this match tonight probably 10 minutes, right around that 10-minute mark. So
yeah.
And I'm trying to see, like, that's the only match to me. Well, no, Edge and Miz, but because there was like a lot of dragging in that match. Holy crap, Edge and Miz went 20 minutes.
I know, I saw that.
Jeez,
Edge, like every match he has, it's like minimum 20 minutes.
He's trying to get the most out of himself before he says, "I am done."
I mean, like, with Randy Orton, how long those matches were, all the Seth matches, obviously him and Roman earlier or last WrestleMania season and Daniel Bryan. So it's, he's going out there, man. I think he's just trying to prove he's the workhorse of the company.
Oh, speaking of Bryan and WrestleMania, did you hear about the record that Bryan set that he's the first ever as far as AEW and WWE goes?
No, what is
Bryan Danielson is the first person to ever challenge for both the WWE and AEW title in the same year.
Oh, Wow.
WrestleMania, and then winter is coming.
Which I kind of wonder if anyone else can do that type of feat.
I mean,
again.
it could happen again, but he's the first. So he can always, they can always say he's the first.
Wow. That's really
First person
cool,
to challenge for both belts in the same year.
Man, and what a year he's had. Even though he took all summer off. Even though he took all the summer off, he's still, between WWE and AEW, his runs that were so incredible in 2021.
As far as the match between Drew McIntyre and Madcap Moss goes, before the match, Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss told some bad jokes and made fun of Atlanta. Moss made more jokes about McIntyre. McIntyre came out and rocked Moss with a shoulder tackle to take the early advantage. Moss at one point caught McIntyre with a big boot to the face, and McIntyre sent Moss to the floor. Corbin tried to interfere, and McIntyre hit him with the belly-to-belly suplex. Corbin distracted McIntyre again, and Moss took over. And it's always like, oh, why wasn't that a DQ? Because Corbin didn't touch Drew. Drew touched Corbin. So dumb. But it's like, he distracted him, so Corbin said, I'll dispose of you. Or McIntyre said, I'll dispose of you. So, because he never technically touched Drew, but Drew threw him with the belly-to-belly, that's still all good. So Moss hit a shoulder tackle and got a near fall off of it before slowing down the pace with a chin lock. McIntyre fought back after Moss missed a tackle in the corner and hit a dropkick off the middle turnbuckle. McIntyre at one point went for a crossbody, but Moss caught him. Moss fumbled around and then recovered and hit a fallaway slam. Almost dropped Drew there. That would have been bad. McIntyre fought back and hit a future shock DDT. Moss caught McIntyre in a tree of woe. McIntyre countered with a suplex. McIntyre hit the Claymore. Moss countered with a kick to the face. And then, Drew hit another Claymore and picked up the victory. Drew McIntyre defeats Madcap Moss, but that wasn't it for those three tonight.
Yeah, the match, like we said earlier, went on a lot longer than it needed to. But I will say this, I'm a huge Drew McIntyre fan. I'm biased. It's my opinion. I'm just putting that disclaimer out there. He's a freak of nature, man. Like in the ring, he was upside down in the corner, and got rolled out of the corner that way on, standing on his head like that. And, his strength and the moves he can do. I mean, I love Drew McIntyre. He could do no wrong in my book as far as his in-ring work in this one. And Madcap Moss, to his credit, I think he showed a little bit of his athleticism here.
They mentioned it too.
Yeah, his strength, raw strength, as far as throwing Drew McIntyre around in this ring. So for them, like I said, it looked like they had like an extra 5 minutes they needed to fill. So it looked like, two big hosses throwing each other around. So, it was just filler. And then, Happy Corbin did his thing. I will say this, that's my New Year's resolution, is I want to get a complete fashion makeover from Happy Corbin. I want to look like him. I want to dress nice him.
So he did the regular interview on Satin's podcast and then did a separate one when they were all in LA. Did you hear his story about the hat?
Oh yeah, how he lucked out having all those hats.
He's like,
right?
Vince told me he wants me to wear a fedora, and I told him, well, I've got 20 of them sitting at home.
Yeah, it worked out perfect,
right?
And partly because of his wife, right?
Yeah, he's like, I'm married to a Puerto Rican, and in Puerto Rican they gift those out like candy or something like that. He's like, they gift those all the time, so I got 20 of them. Like, make good use of them now. I thought that was funny. Yeah. I also liked in that interview that he said he went so far into the being broke thing where he like stopped doing his Wagyu beef videos and was supposed to do one for Gordon Ramsay and almost didn't do it because of the what's it called? The poor Corbin, but then did the video and Gordon Ramsay goes, oh no, that video's too good. I can't talk bad about it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So in the back, Megan Morant interviewed Kevin Owens. He said he wasn't happy that they added Brock Lesnar to the main event match. He said Rollins and he would work together, and then goes, wait, I may have a plan. Seth said I needed to come up with the plan. I'm going to take out Lesnar, and I'm going to do this for my soulmate, Sami Zayn. Called him his soulmate. Gotta love it.
So do you think Sami Zayn is probably going to re-sign as well now that Kevin Owens signed a new deal?
I think so.
Yeah, I think, and after saying it to soulmate, I think now the writing's on the wall for that.
I think so. I think Sammy sticks around.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird how everyone's like, oh, everything I've heard from different sources, Kevin's going to leave. And then, hey, by the way, I'm staying for a couple more years.
I love Kevin Owens.
I mean, I've heard recently that Vince really values Kevin Owens' opinions on certain things backstage as far as matches and stuff go.
That's great.
Yeah.
If you have that type of relationship with Vince McMahon, that's golden. You have you're in arguably the most powerful man all time in pro wrestling, sports entertainment, his ear. Like that's a position you probably don't want to lose or a bridge you want to burn.
Exactly.
So I get that. Absolutely.
And it's like, if you think about the people that not got released and went to AEW, but the people that left and went to AEW, it's like Adam Cole. He didn't have no real relationship there except for with Triple H and Shawn, and he knew that even if he left, they'd still be cool with him. Johnny Gargano, he didn't have really relation. He had the same kind of relationship Cole did. Kyle O'Reilly, I don't know how much his relationship with those guys were in NXT, but again, none of them were main roster.
Yeah,
like they wanted Adam Cole in the main roster, but it's not like they wanted him to the point of we need Adam Cole to be Adam Cole. No, they were going to change the crap out of Adam Cole, reportedly, but. Daniel Bryan, though, he knows that, you know, if he leaves, goes to AEW, does what he wants to do there, and wants to come back to WWE, he's someone that, he's not going to burn the bridge. They'll take him back no matter what.
Oh, yeah. No, he's, no, Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, no, he said in interviews, like, he just wants to go on this run. I think it's a 3-year deal at AEW, have all these dream matches, different matches that he couldn't have with the WWE roster. Go to Japan, all that stuff, because that's what he said in the interview with me. He said WWE did reach out to New Japan,
which is crazy.
And so he confirmed it. Like, they did reach out for me, see if it was possible, but you know that fell through. And then I'm sure Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson was like, you know what? Okay, if that relationship can't work, then I gotta take my talents elsewhere for a couple years. But he's been very vocal in all his interviews. Like, he loves Vince, he appreciates everything he's done. So he's smart. He's not going to burn his bridge. I wouldn't be surprised. He'll come back in 3 years and finish his career off there.
Plus, he's apparently, I don't know, there's different things on this, but he's going to Qatar to do a show there too.
What?
Because they have that Qatar Pro Wrestling, and apparently he's announced for the show, but there's also been rumors and word of they're announcing people before the deal's signed. So, like, they're prematurely announcing people before they're 100%. Like, I think that's the deal with, like, Brian and Adam Scherr, the former Braun Strowman. Like, it's not 100% that they're going to go, but they announced it anyways.
Jeez.
Yeah. Ew. Going forward, though, we had the Raw Tag Team titles on the line. It was RK Bro against the Street Profits. I thought this match was good, not great. I expected more out of it, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think partly, you know, listen, it's two babyface teams going at it. So it wasn't like, as far as that excitement of like good versus evil or whatever, you know, it wasn't there. Especially, I got good versus evil on my mind. I've seen Cobra Kai, so that's fresh in my head as far as people hating each other going at it. But yeah, this match, it seemed like a friendly competition between two of the top babyface tag teams from the Raw brand, and it was fine. It was competitive. I mean, could have been something that could have easily main evented Monday Night Raw in 1 week. So, and this, if I remember correctly, this was supposed to happen a few weeks ago, right? But Montez has been injured or something.
The finals, the match with Street Profits and the Mysterios were supposed to be 2 weeks ago. That match got pushed back, which was the finals of the RK Baronament. That's what got pushed back because, I mean, we don't know exactly. You can make your assumptions. Something happened with Montez where he couldn't work for 2 weeks.
Yep.
So, but as far as the match goes, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, the match itself, like you said, it probably just the finish was probably the most entertaining part of this whole thing. And then even after the match, they were just like hugging it out and just showing respect to each other. So, as
far as the match goes, the Street Profits had the early advantage after Angelo Dawkins rocked Riddle with a shoulder tackle. Dawkins looked over at the Migos, who I guess they're a hip hop act. I don't know. I've never heard of them before the WWE started talking about the Migos. Because earlier they did a backstage thing where they're like, "We're here in our hometown, cool to be here," and I'm like, "Oh, that's it." But then they were out here for this match and still really didn't do anything. But
I thought they were going to perform or something.
They kind of like, that's what I thought too. That's what they kept making it sound like. It's like they're going to get some performance from the Migos. And I'm like, okay, cool. That will be different. They want this to feel like a big event. Give us a musical performance or something. Like when Pitbull performed at WrestleMania 33.
Yeah, or maybe they could perform someone's, theme song or entrance music or something. But no, none of that. They just sat
They were just
ringside.
there, Sat there and then got in the ring afterwards and was like, cool. Because like they did their interview backstage and like, oh yeah, we like WWE. It'd be cool to get into the ring one day. Well, I guess they technically got into the ring tonight. As far as the match goes, the crowd really.
I'm sorry, just
go for it.
Bad Bunny. Wasn't that what Bad Bunny did? Didn't he just make an appearance at the Rumble? And then that led to.
Well, Bad Bunny performed. He did his Booker T song.
Booker, that's right. Okay.
Because Booker was there, behind him the whole time, the arms crossed. And he danced around Booker. But he at least performed.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the match goes, like I said, Dawkins and Riddle started off, and the crowd really just wanted Orton. They just kept chanting either Randy or RKO. Randy, RKO. So Dawkins hears this and does the Randy Orton pose. And I go, oh, I like that. I like that. Tease the crowd, saying, you want Randy? I'll play Randy. Montez Ford danced around the ring as Orton just watched. Ford backed Orton into the corner as he finally got tagged in, but Orton fought back with a standing drop kick. Riddle went for a suplex, but Ford slipped out and tagged in Dawkins. Later on in the match, Riddle fought back, and Orton got the hot tag. He ran wild on Ford and hit a power slam. Orton looked over at the Migos and then hit a double draping DDT on both Street Profits. Orton went for the RKO, but Ford countered with a cradle for a near fall. Riddle knocked Dawkins off the apron with a jumping knee. Ford then shoved Riddle off the ropes, and he landed on Dawkins. As far as the finish of the match goes, Ford hit a huge running dive over the corner onto the both members of RK Bro, and then Orton avoided a frog splash. Riddle threw Ford in the air, and Orton hit the RKO to pick up the victory. So after the match, Migos get into the ring, and they're all not really even doing anything there. They're just kind of just looking around like, oh, man. And then Street Profits get in. They shake hands. They go, look, they're all cordial. This is great. I was like, a little underwhelming. The match was good. Like I said, the match was good, not great. Fun, but I expected more from these two teams.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if there was a heel tag team involved, then maybe the baby face win, and then maybe the heels try to get some revenge after the pinfall, and then the Migos could
knock one out,
help make the save, and just do a fun little spot to take out the heels, and let the heels run away, and then the baby faces and the artists celebrate in the ring afterwards.
Going forward, we had Drew McIntyre in the back. And he's running around calling for Corbin and this and that. I think he was calling. No, he's asking where this is really weird. He's asking where the locker room was. And I go, so where'd you get changed? Your rental car or something? Where'd you put your gear on at? In some random janitor's closet? How do you not know where the locker room is? And then finally, Megan Moran just appears and goes, oh, Megan, let's do an interview.
You have the microphone.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
I think you go to Mike, let's talk. And I go, okay. So he starts talking, doesn't say anything of note, and he gets attacked by Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. They jump him. He briefly fights back, but the heels, 2-on-1, weren't too much as they had a chair. They put his head in the chair and they basically Pillmanized him. And then WWE has announced that McIntyre is injured. I'm going to read what they wrote verbatim, because this is just what the hell. They wrote, and I quote, actually, I'm going to pull it up on the screen here for you guys to see. This is actually kind of funny. They wrote, Drew McIntyre suffered.
Sorry, the photo. Look at the photo.
Yes. Drew McIntyre suffered a cervical neck strain with severe contusions. Upon further evaluation by medical staff, he will have a follow-up with an orthopedic cervical specialist. There you go. Drew got a neck injury. They couldn't just say he hurt his neck and going to be out. No, he's got cervical contusions and needs to see severe contusions and needs to see a cervical specialist. So yeah. Drew McIntyre,
sorry,
everybody.
Hold on, Drew. Hope you feel better, okay, man? Thinking about you. Got my little figure here. I miss you, Drew. Actually, I should probably send a message to Drew and be like, "Hey, man, I hope you're doing okay after that orthopedic whatever."
Well, he hasn't been able to
it's
see the
called."
specialist yet. It's still the weekend. Remember, tomorrow ain't Monday, so he's got to wait.
Oh man, he's gonna be lying in pain, probably traveling back from. Actually, do they have a house show tomorrow since it's Sunday?
Good question.
I don't know what the live schedule is this weekend because the pay-per-view happened on a Saturday and not on a regular Sunday for them. So I'm just kind of curious.
Tomorrow, January 2nd, Fayetteville, North Carolina. And then Monday they're in Greensville, Greenville, South Carolina for Raw.
They're going to make them work on Sunday, the day after the pay-per-view.
And it is a super show, so both brands are working.
Okay. Man. All right. Well, hopefully Drew has the day off at least to recover from that attack. Thinking about you, Drew. Hope you're okay. Just thinking about you. I should keep it on my mic.
So going forward, Caleb Braxton interviewed Brock Lesnar. We briefly talked about this earlier. He imitated Paul Heyman, said that he's a free agent thanks to his advocate and can really do whatever he wants. He then promised to win the WWE title and said that's a spoiler. Then going forward, we had a 20-minute match between The Miz and Edge. The Miz and Maurice make their way out, and like we talked about earlier, Maurice kind of tripped on the ramp, and Miz laughed at her. Then we hear it. And the Gangrel music plays. The Brood. We got the fire. Starts coming up. Edge comes up from hell, I guess you can say. Through the stage. Really cool. He walks out, and then his normal music plays. And they're talking about how, Miz kept telling him that you're not the Edge of old. You can't be the same old Edge and this and that. And I'm like, okay, but didn't we just do this at SummerSlam?
Yeah, I was gonna say they just repeated this whole thing. Yeah, they just copied that. And
it's like,
by the way, I was gonna say where Edge came up. I think that's probably where Drew McIntyre changed since he couldn't find a locker room.
Maybe
there.
But I think this would have been cooler if we didn't see it. August, September, October, November, December, 5 months ago, 4.5 months ago, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's like. It was like, oh, we already know what's happening here. It's playing the music, and yeah, it's gonna just last enough to walk down the ramp, and then
his music
cut into his main music plays. Yeah.
I thought it would have been cool talking about like old Edge stuff. The Brood music plays, and as he starts walking, Rob Zombie music plays.
Ah, was it You Never Gonna Stop Me?
Mm-hmm.
Was it? Yeah. Okay. All right.
I thought that would have been cool. If we're talking about he's got to be the old Edge again. Well. You got that entrance and that music. We'll now play other old music to hype everybody up. But it was cool, but it really wasn't. I don't think it had, at least for me, the impact that it was supposed to because we just saw it at SummerSlam.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. It's like,
and you were there at SummerSlam to see it live.
Yeah, and I saw that and I was like, that was awesome. Like everyone in the press box and the crowd was popping so hard for that. It was great. So it's like they went back to the well again, 4.5 months later. So it's like, they're probably like, oh my God, that worked. Let's do it again. It's like, Well, no, it loses its value. Like maybe do that once a year. And you kind of saw that was coming after what happened this past Monday on Raw with the wedding vow renewal and, Eric Bischoff and all the black goo now instead of blood. So
I think it's motor oil. It looks like motor oil.
Yeah. And shout out though, Edge wearing the Slayer shirt on Monday Night Raw this past week.
Oh, nice.
So, Slayer. Love it.
As far as the match does go, like I talked about earlier, a lot of focus on Maurice. Like a lot of focus on Maurice. Like this camera kept just Maurice is over there. Action. Maurice is over action. Maurice is over there. Like a lot of cutting to Maurice. And it's just funny the way she's walking around the ring and stuff. She's walking very timidly, like she can't walk in these boots well because they got a big heel on the back of them. Like she tripped once and she doesn't want to. Like she almost tripped once and doesn't want to actually trip.
Or I'm worried that maybe she really did kind of roll her ankle a little bit coming down the ramp, and so it's a little tender. So she's probably like trying to not put a lot of weight on it. So she's like,
and also,
she was walking a little odd.
So like a lot of the early parts of this match was just Miz and Edge going back and forth and this and that. And there was a part where Edge gets thrown out of the ring and Maurice goes to walk around where Edge was over by the ramp. And the ref's like, don't. Jessica Carr, the ref, was like, don't, Maurice, don't get involved. And I felt like Maurice got a little lost or something because she kept looking up like she was waiting for the ref to get distracted. But the ref never got distracted, so she couldn't do anything. It was just very weird. And it took me out of like the match itself because I'm like, okay, is Maurice supposed to do something? Is she waiting for a cue? What's going on? Because she literally kept looking at the ref. Like, where's my cue? Am I supposed to do something? Nope, you're still looking. You're not distracted. Like, and then she would look over at Miz like he was supposed to do something, and then she like kind of walked towards Edge and then back. I get it. She was like trying to play it off like I'm waiting to see if the ref gets distracted, and then I'll strike to Edge. But I know if I do anything, Miz gets disqualified. But it's just the way she did it didn't seem fluid, and it really felt like she was waiting for a cue almost. Not like a in real life situation, I'm waiting for the ref to get distracted. It's I'm waiting for my cue to do something, it felt like.
Yeah. So maybe it's a little ring rust, or I guess what, apron rust, as far as, having a presence as, Miz's manager or that type of role, or valet. So yeah, maybe it's just, I don't know, but she's done it, I mean, I know she's not on the road regularly with him right now. I mean, this current incarnation of the Miz, she's back with him, but maybe she's just, a little rusty for not being out there on a regular full-time basis. But no, but still, yeah, it was just a little odd as far as, the camera going back to her and to the ring, and it's like, what's going on here? And I just kind of felt like Miz and Edge chemistry wasn't there. Like Edge, it was a decent match. It was solid, but it wasn't like Seth Rollins. It wasn't, Roman, Daniel Bryan. So, and granted, Miz, great old fashioned heel. But his in-ring work is, definitely a lot more basic compared to those other guys I just mentioned. So it's not going to be the same type of match with Edge. Because, it is, your dance partner in the ring, how this match is going to be laid out. But it was fine. It served its purpose. I'm guessing we'll maybe get one more match with multiple people involved, which I know you'll get into in a second.
So they're fighting on the outside at one point. They're fighting over near the announce table, and Miz goes for, when Miz slams Edge's head on the announce table, and then goes for the skull-crushing finale on it, but Edge counters and drops him face first on the table. Edge then hits a flying crossbody for another near fall. Miz went for the skull-crushing finale again, and Edge rolled him up for a 2. Miz then set Edge into the ring post and attacked his leg. At one point, Edge gave Miz a hip toss off the top rope. Edge went for a spear, but Miz jumped out of the way. Edge then hits the ring post, and Maurice finally hits him with a bag of something. We don't know what it is. Miz then hits the skull-crushing finale and gets a very close near fall. Maurice then jumps up on the apron and starts yelling at the referee that you messed up. You should have counted that a 3. And out comes Beth Phoenix. Did you see what was on her jacket?
It was like a leather jacket, right? Or
did you see the word that was on it, like right here?
No, I didn't see that closely.
Betty. Do you know what that is resembling? What that's for?
Betty White?
No. Well, maybe. But in NXT, the young kids in NXT used to call her Aunt Betty.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if maybe it's a Betty White thing, but the first thing I thought of was Aunt Betty for a minute. Because she's like, when she did her whole, I want to thank everybody in NXT, I'm going to not be on the road every week, she said, love Aunt Betty at the end of that and stuff. So, and I've heard that joke before be made.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was it, or maybe it was a Betty White thing. Who knows? But
that's a good point. Okay.
Beth comes out here looking like all Aloy from Horizon Forbidden West on the PlayStation. She had big hair and the braids and everything. And she's just looking all kinds of badass, and Maurice just freezes. He's like, oh, what just happened? And then it felt like for a moment, time stood still and nothing happened. And then finally, it starts back up. The Beth Phoenix runs down to ringside. Because it was like, Maurice stood there, Beth was standing there, and then Maurice kind of disappears, and then Beth runs down. Edge hits a spear, picks up the win. Boom, the match is just over all of a sudden.
Yeah, just I'm looking on Beth Phoenix's Twitter at her headliner photo. It's the jacket, and it says Betty on the side. Yeah. What you're just talking about. So, okay, I see it now.
I don't know if that's in reference to... Well, hold on. No, this was yesterday. She posted a picture of Betty White yesterday, but I don't know.
I just saw that too.
I don't know if that has to do with the jacket or not.
Okay. It's probably double meaning.
Maybe.
Interpretation. Yeah.
And for anybody that's going to try and ask, no, she didn't leave NXT just so she can do this angle on the main roster. Trust me, I got a lot of those. Oh, she's going to join Edge on the main roster and she can't work NXT and that. I'm like, yes, she can, because she's going to do what? One match in like 2 weeks on Raw?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
She could do both, but regardless, she came out. The two posed in the ring together, and I like this on her Twitter. I'm going to pull this up here for a second. So you know how Miz and Maurice are the it couple? Well, Adam and Betty are the grit couple. I like that. I think that's really cool. They're the grit couple. That's very
cool. Yeah.
And she capitalized the IT for grit couple. I like that. I thought that was creative. So going forward in the back, Kevin Patrick interviewed Bobby Lashley and MVP. MVP promised that Lashley would win the title tonight. Lashley added that he would put the Hurt Lock on Brock Lesnar. And hey, he made good on that promise. He actually did. Next up, we had the Raw Women's title match, Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. This match went just shy of 17 minutes. And Jesus Christ, was this a great match.
Yeah, it was, another strong showing for Liv Morgan. Yes. The last few weeks on Raw, there were some moments where I think she's still a little nervous going out there and like being that main event scene. This is really her first time to step up from like that mid-card scene that she's been in forever. Now they get in that main event scene. So that's a big leap for career-wise. So I'm sure it's a lot to deal with, and it's probably very nerve-wracking. And so, her promos have been a little hit or miss on Raw the last few weeks, and it's a little nervous, or just her presentation or execution in the ring of that stuff. But I think the match they had a couple weeks ago was probably a good test for her, and just probably building that chemistry with Becky Lynch, and just to help make this match even better, the rematch and them going at it. So, Liv Morgan, she's definitely on the up, and just a great performance here from her. And I know you'll break down the match here, but I'm kind of curious where they go next with Liv Morgan.
True. And just to clarify how I'm not crapping on this match for the actual match happening a couple weeks ago, that other match was to build to this match. With the New Day Uso stuff, that was just a match to have a match after the pay-per-view match was already announced. That's where I'm like, that the Liv Becky match on Raw was needed to make the match happen. Well, was and wasn't needed to make the match happen at the pay-per-view. So that's where it differs. But I like Corey Graves here early on in this match, because Liv gets very aggressive and she starts slamming Becky's head against the announce desk. And Corey just goes, well, there's the second beverage I've lost tonight. Because his drink gets knocked off the announce table. But Liv's just bashing Becky's head against the announce table very early. And she just yells out a primal scream and just like, oh, dang, she come to play. She ain't playing no games. Morgan went for a Hurricane Runner early, but Lynch held on and swung her into the corner. Lynch beat Morgan down and hit a leg drop off the second rope. Byron Saxton claimed that Lynch is losing her confidence because she can't keep Liv down. And I guess you could say that. Becky did become frustrated more and more through the match as she couldn't keep, again, Liv down. At one point, Liv went for a superplex, but Lynch went for a superplex. Morgan slipped out. Then this is really cool. She ran up the ropes, did like a flip, and then powerbombed Becky off the middle rope. That was really cool. Got a close near fall off of it, and the crowd chanted, "This is awesome." Morgan hesitated for a moment, which allowed Becky to put the disarmor on. Morgan made it to the ropes, but Lynch wouldn't break the hold. Lynch was firmly in control after she eventually did break the hold and slammed Morgan face first for another near fall. Lynch slammed Morgan's head on the announce table and tried to win by countout, because they said it. She don't care how she wins. Becky just wants to keep that belt. Morgan did beat the count, and Lynch threw her right back out. Morgan fought back and trapped Lynch in the steps, just like Becky had did to her, and then she starts stomping the leg between the steps and the turnbuckle. I like the callback here. Morgan then locked on the rings of Saturn in the ring. Becky's screaming like you think she's going to give up, and then she rolls it through, tries to go for the pin, gets a 2, but not really a kick out, more of Liv breaks the hold, and then they all fall kind of off each other. The finish of the match then came, which was actually a little messed up. The finish was messed up a little bit. Finish came when Morgan went for the Oblivion. Lynch countered into the manhandle slam, and went for the pin. She was supposed to use the ropes, but was just slightly too far. She like got her foot up at one point, it fell off, and then she's like trying to swim in a pool with no water with her legs kicking, and she got the win. So good match. Finish slightly messed up, but I don't think that takes away from especially Liv Morgan's performance here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as you mentioned a second ago, that it was just an amazing sunset flip into the power bomb from Liv Morgan there. It was like executed like so gracefully, like smooth. And so it's little things like that. It's like that's what makes Liv Morgan, I think, a big fan favorite. She can bust out those type of moves. Yeah. I really like Becky Lynch as a heel. Her strategy of like Liv would grab her, throw her in the ring, but then Becky would just keep rolling and roll on the other on the other side of the ring, and vice versa, just kept like rolling out of the ring. It's like Liv Morgan, the inexperienced one, she's like trying to give everything she can to throw her back in the ring, but then Becky just keeps rolling because Liv's taking her time trying to get back in. And so I think this is a situation, kayfabe, like the experienced champion beat the inexperienced up-and-comer babyface here. As far as, and Liv Morgan gave a strong showing. I mean, I saw a lot of people online were complaining, oh, Liv Morgan should have won here, which, sure, I guess she could have won, but I think, she's just a placeholder right now. I think Bianca Belair is going to be the one to dethrone Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. I think that's what they're saving for.
Oh, you think she wins
Becky
the title
Lynch.
2 years in a row at Mania?
Bianca Belair? Yeah, sure.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, they gotta make good that SummerSlam match, if you want to call it that. You gotta do right for Bianca Belair and let her get that win back on the grandest stage of them all at WrestleMania. That's, I think you can justify that match at SummerSlam if you let her win at WrestleMania.
But does she win the Rumble again, in your opinion, or no? Give someone else the Rumble win and then she can have the Raw match?
Well, okay, so what I'm thinking as far as next for Liv Morgan, it's like, okay, she's coming up. The fans are loving her tenacity, her will to not give up and putting on these strong matches. They got to reward her, I think, with something in 2022. Is it a Rumble win or is it Money in the Bank? I kind of have a feeling. I wonder. Well, I don't know.
Because I was asking Bianca. You said Bianca gets the match at Mania. So does Bianca win the Rumble 2 years in a row? Do you think?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think.
Gotcha.
Because like, okay, I'm thinking the three favorites right now is Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, or Liv Morgan. Like, I'm just trying to think of scenarios.
Rhea's the farthest thing from my mind.
Well, that's the thing. It's like she came in second to Bianca last year, so maybe she can win this year. I mean, they have 4 weeks now to like hopefully rebuild Rhea Ripley. Maybe she wins and goes challenges Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown title and trying to reignite their feud, especially now that Toni Storm's gone and out of the picture. So Charlotte needs a fresh competition right now. So that's where I'm kind of thinking.
I'm thinking Ripley. Monday, her and Nikki are challenging for the tag titles. I kind of thought that would be a good time to turn Rhea on Nikki.
Yeah.
Turn her heel.
And go on.
Yeah,
go on this war path to Royal Rumble.
Win the Rumble.
And then maybe Bianca, if they do like a women's elimination chamber match, because we all know February is like Royal Rumble 2.0 as far as, okay, that pay-per-view elimination chamber, that's our backup plan of trying to find another new number one contender for WrestleMania. So, I mean, I think Becky and Bianca should be WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley, Royal Rumble winner, goes against Charlotte, and then Liv Morgan, maybe Money in the Bank.
Don't forget, Bayley could be back at any time.
That's true as well. And then that's the thing is the 4 horsewomen are still running things in the women's division, Raw and SmackDown. So the ones on the outside looking in, Bianca, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, it's they got a challenge as far as trying to overcome the 4 horsewomen, because the 4 horsewomen are money, they're drawers, they put on amazing matches. So I think that's why over the last few years, one of the 4 of them is a champion at one point or another. They always just rotate the belts amongst them, it feels like. So Bianca broke through and won against Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. Bianca Belair, I know not to drop this again, but like she did an interview with me last year and said, she has a little personal goal of defeating every member of the Four Horsewomen. She's almost there. I think Charlotte's the only one, or I'm trying to remember, or is it Becky? I can't remember. Anyway, so it's Bianca is the strongest one, as like maybe the 5th strongest person on the women's division outside the Four Horsewomen. So
I agree.
I just, for Liv Morgan, maybe this was just a good opportunity for her to, build that credibility with the fans, and maybe they can reward that down the road with Money in the Bank.
I also do see people in the chat asking about Alexa Bliss. We don't know her status. Like, I don't know what's going on with Alexa, why she's been out, when she's going to come back. She teased on social media recently when a fan said, I'd love to see Alexa Bliss back, and she's just like, soon. But who knows how soon is. Soon can be next week. Soon can be in 3 months. Soon's different to everybody.
Yeah.
So, no clue there. But as we move forward, Kevin Patrick interviewed Seth Rollins. He basically said, I'm going to stomp my way to the title. We then got word that Rich Holland did suffer a broken nose. WWE did post on social media as well. Injury update. Rich Holland suffered a broken nose in his match tonight at day 1, where the photo actually, it's kind of a funny photo, so I do want to pull it up.
Okay. Oh my God.
You got like a stick, a popsicle stick or something right there, and then catching the blood over on that side. But yeah, I said Rich Holland did suffer a broken nose in his match tonight at day 1.
Well, listen, we know he loves Sheamus. He's his like protege. He can borrow maybe Sheamus's face mask now to protect him.
His eyes all messed up too. It's all swollen. I just noticed that. Because
poor Rich
when they slowed it down and showed the slow-mo of the incident, it almost looked like Ricochet caught him with most of his boot in the eye, and like the heel hit the nose.
Like slid right into that. Yeah. Painful, but it's just poor Rich Holland. Like, the injury in NXT, now busted nose here. It's just
hopefully it's a busted nose, so I don't expect him to be out too long with it.
Yeah.
Usually you can recover pretty fast from those.
But that's what I'm saying. Like on SmackDown, they could totally play this up. Be like, Rich can like, Sheamus, I love you. Yeah. So let me borrow your face mask or something. Or I could be like you now and have a face mask, and they could be like face mask buddies.
And good thing this was a in the ring accident, so they don't go, oh well, he's injury prone.
Yeah, exactly. So
then we got the word about Johnny Knoxville, which Twitter was pissed off about. And then we go to our main event that went 8 minutes and 19 seconds. It was the WWE title match, Big E, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, and Brock Lesnar. As soon as Brock Lesnar came out last, I said, yup, my theory is correct. He's winning this damn thing. As soon as he came out last, I knew it. And this match, I said it when I tweeted about it afterwards, super fun, really, really good work by all. Didn't give you a second to breathe. As soon as one thing happened, something else was already happening, and boom. They didn't waste any time here. Everyone got good moves in. Everyone got to shine. Everyone got to look good, and then Brock wins in the end. And even Brock made others look good early on. For people that say, Brock won't do the business, Brock's always got to make himself look the best. No, he doesn't. Brock Lesnar lets other people shine against him at times. I mean, I remember in the Mysterio match a few years ago, Mysterio got some good moves off on him and stuff. So Brock's not as, it's all about me and I'm just going to make myself look good as people make him out to seem.
I think Brock or whoever kind of has influence on his character and his presentation out there in the ring, it has to be strategic. He is built up as like, what does Pat McAfee call him? The
alpha male of our species.
Yeah. So with that, that title on him, he has to be protected a little bit as far as what he does in the ring is like the ultimate badass monster. You don't want to deteriorate that with, guys constantly maybe attacking and beating him. There's a certain level, certain standard of when he's in the ring, you have to maintain that level of the threat that he is, and you got to protect that and make sure he maintains being a monster. So when someone does break through, like a Rey Mysterio a couple years ago, I mean Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble, almost 2 years ago now, Keith Lee had the little moment with him. So when those moments do happen, it is special. It's like, wow,
Exactly.
like, oh my God, this person got this offense in on them. Now, granted, I know on the other side of the argument, you look at the Kofi Kingston situation, and then there's like, Ricochet, like Crown Jewel a couple years ago. I mean, there are moments where Brock just totally squashes someone, and it's like, oh man, that's terrible, that's cheap. But then Goldberg, when Goldberg returned a few years ago and beat Brock in a minute and a half, whoever it was, that was pretty impactful. Like, oh my God. Like, look how badass Goldberg is, or at least, the story that they're trying to set up here is like Goldberg is a badass. He beat this monster, Brock Lesnar, in a minute and a half. So just to, like I said, it's strategy, people. It's storytelling. Just let it ride out. Calm down. So, and I know people are, complaining about the finish here or what it symbolizes and whatnot. We'll get into that. But no, this match was just a lot of fun.
As far as the matches go, as soon as the bell rings, Owens, Rollins, they work together to try and take down Brock. Bobby goes after Big E. They're all fighting. Lashley knocks. No. Lesnar hits a couple German suplexes. Lashley then knocks Big E to the floor. He recovers, jumps back in. Big E then sends Lesnar over the top rope with the clothesline, which is really, really good looking. Made Big E look super strong early. He just sent Brock out of the ring. Lashley then takes over. When he jumps back in, he knocks Big E down and puts him shoulder first into the post. Lashley then spears Brock Lesnar through the barricade. Looks like Brock may have hit the back of his head on one of the chairs. The rolling chair sitting there, but whatever. Brock was fine. Lashley was firmly in control here, but Owens and Rollins worked together. They rocked Lashley with a double super kick. Rollins then took out Lesnar with a suicide dive. Owens and followed that up with a frog splash off the apron onto Brock, and the fans broke out into "This is awesome" chant, and the announcers also said, "Yes, this is awesome." Owens and Rollins then picked apart Lesnar as they even gave him a double DDT on the steel steps. Not before, though, Lashley sent, Big E through the announce table? Yeah. No, Big E recovered and gave Lashley the Uranagi through the announce table. Lashley went through the announce table. I got that mixed up. And so much going on that my notes are kind of a little messed up for this match, because like, as soon as one thing was done, something else was already happening. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So Lashley went through the announce table. Owens and Rollins then gave Lesnar the DDT on the stairs that I mentioned. Back in the ring, Owens had a pop-up powerbomb on Big E for a near fall. Owens went for a swanton, and Big E got the knees up. Rollins immediately hit the Phoenix Splash on Big E for a close 2. Rollins then set up for the stomp, and Brock comes in, catches him in midair, F5. He hits an F5 on Owens, who was going for a stunner, and then F5 to Big E. Suddenly, Lashley spears Brock, and I go, oh no. Lashley then got the hurt lock on Brock Lesnar as well. I'm like, oh, he made good on that promise. Lesnar couldn't break free until Big E, though, made the save. I really liked that. They showed the strength of Bobby in a big way there, that even Brock couldn't break the hurt lock. Big E then went for the big ending on Lesnar, but he slipped out. He hit an F5 to Big E before pinning him to become the WWE champion. Not only did Brock win the belt, but he pinned the champion. And now I got to play this video for you guys from WWE's Twitter that a fan posted after. I'm gonna take the audio out. You need to see this. Okay. It says, "New year, new champ, same Brock." Pull the video up. I'm not gonna play the audio though, because this is loud people screaming.
Okay.
Screen transition. It was right here. Fist bump, and then Brock takes a picture with them, but it's video, but still. As Brock's leaving the ringside area to go to the back.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Brock's just loving life right now. You could tell he's loving everything he's doing.
Oh, that's so cool. It's good. He's playing up the fact that he's a baby face. He's embracing the fans, which he doesn't normally do because he was a heel in the past. So, that's cool. That's a whole new layer to his character.
Exactly.
It's subtle, but it's like, hey, he's celebrating his victory. He's never done that as far as I've known in all his years in WWE. So,
right.
That's very cool.
But that's the show. And now the big question is, was Brock supposed to beat Roman?
Okay, so much to digest here in this short main event. As far as I love the intensity, I know WWE on the fly had to scrap probably their plans were and just come up with something new, the Fatal Five Way. But to WWE's credit, they usually do a great job booking or handling these multi-man, multi-people matches, Fatal Five Ways. You knew it's gonna be very overbooked, but it's gonna be very chaotic. And I'm sure all five guys were like, "Hey, let's go out there. Let's just go balls to the wall." It was a lot of like finishers and frog splashes and explosions, just people running to barricades. It was awesome. I want to thank you because you alerted to me about Roman and his situation not going to be there with COVID and all that. So I told like my brother and my friends all about it. And, we all were happy because it's like, oh my God, finally, in some way, we're going to get Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar in the ring at the same time. So that was kind of like the match within a match that we were all looking forward to. So when, when Bobby speared Brock Lesnar in the barricades, like, oh my God, like finally they're having an altercation, a physical altercation of some sort.
Not to cut you off really fast, but speaking of that, you would think, okay, logic, build Big E, Brock for the rematch. They didn't, though. The last thing we saw was Brock and Bobby with a stare down. Bobby on the ramp, Brock in the ring, just staring at each other.
And Bobby was like pissed, and that's the eye of the tiger.
I mean, I love Bobby Lashley. I think Bobby Lashley is great.
Absolutely.
And so if we can maybe at the Rumble finally get that singles match that everyone's been asking for since Bobby came back in 2018.
Yeah.
That would be great.
So because like what I'm thinking, and like I said, as you mentioned, Bobby, had Brock, in the hold and Brock could not fight out of it, and then he hit a spear on him. So it's like those little moments were like, okay, like if they have a match, it could be really fun and it could be as awesome as we all think it's gonna be. So it's like they gave us a little taste, a little sample of that. So I am hopeful we'll get the full app or the full course at some point.
And it doesn't need to be like a long match. It could be like a 5-minute Brock Goldberg match.
Oh, absolutely. And listen, like I know Brock Lesnar is a very polarizing figure. I know a lot of people are upset when he does get the title because I think in the past they assume he's going to win, but he won't be on TV that often. He's not going to be around. It's like you have a champion, but he's not really there. I get all that. I was frustrated too during his multiple Universal title reigns. I kind of anticipate this is probably not going to be a long title reign if I had to guess. And we can maybe discuss what could be the possible booking moving forward, creative wise. So I do understand people are upset that he pinned Big E. It's like, couldn't you protect Big E and just pin someone else like, Kevin Owens or something?
Yeah.
I know they're booked in a little bit of a corner. I mean, you don't want to pin Bobby Lashley because he's still the dominant force, and maybe that you want to keep that open for a matchup down the road. Now you have that ace in the hole. Seth Rollins, technically Seth Rollins has beaten Brock Lesnar before, so maybe you don't want him to pin him because if you want to go maybe that type of rematch down the road, it's a reverse. Seth is the heel, Brock is the baby face. You don't want to pin Big E because he's the current champion. You want to keep him look strong. So Kevin Owens would have been the odd man, I think, if you want someone else to eat the pinfall here. But now it's like, okay, Brock is the champion. Where do you go from here? And I know you and I were texting some maybe different ways. I mean, that's kind of the crazy part is, maybe with the unfortunate situation with Roman Reigns.
You're thinking the same thing I am, the same reasoning.
So I hope, I want to wish Roman speedy recovery. Hope he gets well very soon, all that stuff. But in a way, this could be a blessing in disguise because one, that can prolong their actual matchup. Because I think a lot of people thought they're going to have the match here. They had Crown Jewel. They have this match. Okay, when do you do the third one? Do you wait that long, the WrestleMania, or do Royal Rumble instead? So how do you stretch it out?
According to Dave Meltzer, all week, Roman was pulled from live events because they did a holiday tour. So they were on the road all week. They've been on the road since last weekend. Roman was pulled, and that crazy just turn of events. Roman was pulled from the road to help him mitigate the chances of getting COVID.
Okay.
And then he ended up getting COVID anyways, being home. I don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions of, well, did he go somewhere? How did he get it? Who came to his house?
Yeah.
We don't know any of that. But it's just like, I don't want to say it's funny because that's not the right word to use, but I can't think of the word I'm thinking of. Coincidence, maybe? A coincidence that they pulled him to make sure he stayed healthy, and then in the end, he still wasn't. But, So now, where do they go from here? I had a crazy idea that you do. So back to the Meltzer thing really fast. Meltzer's whole thing was tonight was supposed to be the big build for WrestleMania. They needed Brock there. They needed Roman there. They needed Heyman there. All three guys were integral in a story they had for WrestleMania. No Roman, we know. Were you shocked that Heyman didn't appear at all? I was a little bit.
Yeah, I was, but I mean, my thinking was for if plans were to go accordingly, Roman versus Brock, I had a feeling that Heyman was going to swerve and officially turn on Brock and align himself with Roman and help him retain the title, the Universal Championship. I had a chance to talk to you, a couple weeks ago on Smackdown. Heyman revealed he was protecting. In reality, he was protecting Roman from Brock Lesnar, and Roman was pissed and fired him, and Superman punched him. I just thought that was going to be a swerve, and Paul Heyman was officially going to align himself with Roman Reigns and help Roman win tonight at day one, if that was going to happen. But since Roman's not there, I'm sure I wasn't as surprised. I just felt like, okay, Roman's not there. Let's hold off on that storyline, that story beat, and let's keep Paul Heyman off TV as well. There's no point in having him out there.
Also, real quick, Dragon. I'm going to say this last thing wrong. Dragon Legat. Ironic. That was the word I was thinking of. Ironic. It's ironic that they kept him off to keep him safe, and then he ended up getting sick anyways. But go for it.
Yeah. So I think that's a story beat they want to save with all three participants involved. So whenever they do have that match.
My couple theories. My theory, one, Heyman's not aligned to any one man. Heyman is aligned to the belt. Because remember at Crown Jewel when he threw the belt between them and says, you know what to do? I think he was talking to the belt. If we're getting really into crazy stuff here.
Okay, all right.
Heyman goes wherever the belt is.
He's just that power hungry.
Yep.
He
wants to be with whoever the top dog is. Doesn't care who it is. He just goes with the belt.
No loyalty there.
Both men have a belt. And here's my theory.
Okay.
WrestleMania is 2 nights. We need 2 big main events. How about night 1 be a title versus title match? Roman, Brock. Winner is the undisputed unified champion, whatever you want to call it. Night 2, that new unified universal WWE undisputed champion takes on the winner of the Royal Rumble. That's my theory. If I'm in a fantasy book, that's what I think you do. If you really need that Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania, you do it night 1. Have them, or I have 2 theories here. You could do it night 1, then the winner Royal Rumble. Or here's another idea, which some people may not like because it's going to give too many Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar matches. You do the Rumble, the winner challenges Brock or Roman, whoever, night 1. Say someone from SmackDown wins the Rumble, challenges Roman retains night 1. Brock defends the title night 1, but the main event is the Roman match. Brock then comes out after the Roman match and challenges Roman to the next night at WrestleMania saying, hey, you defended your title, I defended my title. Let's see who really is the best. And that's how you set up the night 2 main event, title for title. They both successfully defended night 1. Then that sets up night 2. Yeah, it would make night 1 make it a little predictable if we kind of see that that's the way they're going. But that's a cool maybe way to get there. Now that Brock is on Raw as the Raw champion and not on SmackDown anymore with Roman.
Yeah, Raw's gonna be interesting now. Maybe they're like, okay, now we have Brock Star Power on Monday Night Raw now. So hopefully the executives at the USA Network are going to be happy about it.
Right?
But I mean, but listen, they got what, potentially 100,000 seats they need to fill in Dallas this year at WrestleMania. So I'm sure Vince is now like loving the possibility of having Brock, Roman in some capacity on both nights
Right.
now as champions. I'm sure he loves that idea. But listen, what you just brought up as possible scenarios, like we've seen that before in New Japan with Wrestle Kingdom. So, and people love that, how those scenarios play out, even though it seemed predictable with Naito a couple years ago and whatnot. So like let WWE do their own version of that. That's fine with me. Sure, it might be a little predictable, but hey, New Japan did it and everyone loved it. So,
Right.
Hey, don't be biased. Let WWE do their way of a version of that. So I love that scenario, but I'm just trying to think like, and that's the thing about with today's events is now there's so much unknown again. I think a lot of people were kind of anticipating, oh, this is gonna happen, blah blah blah, all these predicting. Now that's all out the window, and there's so much unknown now, and that's great now as far as okay, what fresh storylines can they create here? I mean, you think about it, like before I forget, Edge and Miz, Maurice and Becky Lynch, maybe at Royal Rumble, can we have Edge and Becky and Beth versus Miz and Maurice there, or could they stretch that to WrestleMania? I don't know. That's too far. But there's all these different scenarios now from day one that they can go with moving forward into Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season. So yeah, with Brock Lesnar, does Big E win the Royal Rumble, get his rematch at WrestleMania, or does Bobby Lashley win the Royal Rumble and then therefore he could challenge Brock at WrestleMania? We finally get that match there. Or as you mentioned, maybe they'll just do a regular, just one-on-one match at Royal Rumble. I mean, there's so many different scenarios they can go off this now. And that's exciting. And I'm sure a lot of people hopefully are going to turn to Monday Night Raw now and see what's going to happen.
And the big question is, we don't know what Roman's mentality is right now. Because last time things got bad, he just left.
Oh, yeah. Like real life.
COVID stuff. Yeah. Health-wise. We don't know, the last time he just walked away, he didn't get it as far as we know. He didn't have COVID. Now he got it. Again, not going to make any assumptions on how I think he got it because I don't know. That's not for me to talk about. But the question is, Roman takes his health really serious because of his past health issues. Could this be another scenario of, oh, I need to be even safer than I thought I was. I can't come to work for a little while again.
How much time could he possibly take off, though? I mean, you have the big dog, the number one guy not on SmackDown for that long period of time.
Does he become Brock Lesnar and only show up once a month? I'm trying to see if they have any more Florida shows coming up. Because if it's a Florida show, he doesn't have to travel far. But that's still kind of a moot point because he's still traveling from home and going out into the wild. But yeah, they don't have any, like, the closest shows. They have that's March. They have a Miami show in March, a Smackdown. Closest other than that is like Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. Yeah, they're not going. Let me ask you this: they're not going back to Florida till March.
Okay, before I forget, now with this scenario here, if Brock versus Roman happens, champion versus champion at WrestleMania, hypothetically, do they unify the championship into one belt again, one title, or does this winner just walk around, become two belts like Becky Lynch? So could it be like Roman two belts, scenario? So he appears both on Raw and SmackDown. Like what? Yeah, what would be kind of like Vince's thinking right now?
I'm thinking you have both belts, and eventually fluke win gets one belt off of Roman.
Okay,
a fluke win. That's a way you can say, look, we beat Roman because someone got the title from him. Yeah, not in like a dominant fashion or like a real pin. Maybe fluke something happens to set up another match for Roman down the line. But regardless, I think ratings for Raw, they're down a little bit. Roman does good in the ratings. Roman and I know this is months down the line. But if maybe if Roman beats Brock and it has both belts, he could show up on both shows. Maybe that helps out ratings a little bit with Roman potentially being on both shows. Maybe not every week, but maybe one week he's on Raw, then the next week he shows up on SmackDown and goes back and forth, or some weeks both. I don't know. It's just a thought that I had earlier of there's so much we can now do, unfortunately, due to this incident, this scenario. Maybe they do title for title, and it makes it even more impactful to do that, like you said, third, which now would be the second Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar match of this stint. If you just do the match again, what are the stakes? Universal title, that's what they did at Crown Jewel. Like tonight's match between going into the show, I'm like, oh, Brock and Roman, I don't care about them. I just want to see what Heyman does. Like, that's exactly my thought process. Yeah. And then when they announced this, I'm like, I'm actually interested now. So it's like,
I don't know. I'm sure one day Bruce Pritchard on an episode of Something to Wrestle will explain what was the original plan.
Maybe.
So maybe one day we'll hopefully get an answer what was supposed to originally happen storyline wise. But I kind of like this audible here. I think, WWE creative, hopefully can think on their toes, and because of this, come up with some really fun, interesting storyline that they had to, come up with real quick on the fly. So this could be really fun. I think, you think of like Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, champion versus IC champion. I mean, WWE does like champion versus champion in some capacity. Because I think that possibility now could really be something they want to go for. That's what you said there. That could be really something.
And like I said, it puts more stakes on just another Universal title match between the two.
Exactly. And I like the night 1, night 2 aspect. Like, let them go at it. And then the second night, the Royal Rumble winner can face off against them. Or, I mean, hell,
or vice versa, yeah.
Or maybe Brock faces the Royal Rumble winner, Elimination Chamber winner faces Roman on night. That's both night 1.
Yeah.
And then the winner of both those championship matches face each other on night 2.
Yeah.
And
Basically, like I said, they do their title matches night 1, and then depending on who main events, the other comes out at the very end of WrestleMania, basically to make the challenge for the next night. Or Heyman sets it up somehow at the end. We still don't know where Paul's supposed to be aligned. That's still the big question. But again, we can't really get many answers until Roman comes back, and we don't know how long he's going to be gone now.
Yeah. But hey, man, that's the great thing about being a fan right now is our minds are now using our imagination and trying to come up with these different scenarios, these fantasy booking. That's a great part of being a fan.
Exactly.
Is this element of surprise. I like that. It makes for a fun conversation and for all of us.
Due to an unfortunate circumstance, things aren't as predictable as they usually are now.
Correct. Which is good.
Again,
it's a good sign.
I hope Roman's okay. I hope Roman's fine. I hope Roman gets over this quick. But because of this unfortunate circumstance, it now makes some things a little more unpredictable because everyone was thrown for a loop. Fans, people in the company, them. So, I wasn't surprised Brock won, but I just have no clue where they go now, other than an eventual Bobby Lashley match because they set it up.
Yeah. And, I do hope that Bobby match is not like a one-time throwaway thing. I hope they really do a good job building to that. And, oh, man, God, imagine, I just thought of it. Imagine if Paul Heyman was still, like, officially aligned with Brock. Imagine the promos with Paul Heyman and MVP leading up to it. Like, how good that could have been.
There you go.
I just thought of it. I don't know. There's so many wild cards here now. I love it.
But with that, closing thoughts on the pay-per-view, what'd you think overall?
Overall, listen, it was fun. It wasn't like there were a couple moments where I kind of tuned out, and those were the matches I kind of thought could have easily just been on SmackDown or Raw, respectively. It really, I mean, at the end of the day, it was the main event that people care about here.
Mm.
All the other matches were very forgettable, unfortunately. It was really the story of just one one match here, the main event. That's all it was. So but that was a lot of fun. I mean, I could probably easily watch that again real quick.
Right.
And do you know it, okay, I get it. It's day one, the pay-per-view, because it's the first day of January of the new year. Is this something they're going to try to do every year
That's
and
the
just like the first day?
That's the plan. But then the
Really?
hiccup is in 2 years on Monday,
Yeah, so next year would be day one would be on
a
a Sunday
Sunday.
in 2023.
Hmm.
But yeah, would they keep going like during the week? If January 1st is in the middle of the week, would they do
So
a pay-per-view there?
the word is that this was a Nick Khan idea to have a massive event on the first day of the year because that's always a big sports day.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do when it comes to 2024? When
Yeah.
it's a Monday? Does Raw
Just
now
let me-
become day one and you load that up?
Like a super show?
Yeah. You call them Monday Night Raw Day One Edition or something. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But
We'll see.
apparently it was Nick Khan's idea and he wanted it to become an annual thing. So it just felt like, and I'm not saying another show, but it felt like just a pay-per-view. It didn't feel like it was a super special event like a WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, or a SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm. It was borderline just a filler.
It felt like one of their, payback, backlash, B-level, higher B-level pay-per-views.
Exactly. Yeah.
But with that, guys, that is our thoughts on the show. Do want to check your guys' thoughts really fast with the polls here. We got a couple of them. Or as the Twitch poll does go, 89% of you liked the show with 11% saying, well, it was just all right. As far as the Twitter poll does go, also, according to Sean Rossap of Fightful, he states, if you're up late, I have lots of news coming to Fightful Select. So, well, I will bring that news to you guys. If you're not subscribed to him, we'll report on that whenever he puts news out over there. I don't see anything new up there yet. As far as the Twitter poll does go, though, 59% of you liked the show. 29% thought it was just all right. And 11% actually did not like day one. Interesting. And
Really?
finally, the YouTube poll, 67% liked it. 26% thought it was just all right. And 7% did not like the show. As far as text messages, remember you can text into 510-906-1341. Got a couple of them here. Again, the number is 510-906-1341. Person says, now that Brock Lesnar is the champion, do you see Paul Heyman going back with Roman Reigns or on the side of Brock? We talked about that. It's really unknown because we don't know the whole Roman situation right now.
Mm-hmm.
Another one, thoughts on Brock as the champion. This person says, Happy New Year's to both of you. Happy New Year's back to you. This person says, Brock Lesnar is now a 4-time WWE champion. Also, who should challenge for the SmackDown Women's Championship? I don't know. Sasha Banks, probably. He's the only one kind of that's been pushed up there. And we've got, this person says, who do you think is dominant enough to beat the Beast and take the title from Brock Lesnar? Well, I don't know if anyone's going to take the title from him anytime soon, but I think they can make an, like we talked about already, a compelling match between him and Lashley.
Absolutely.
And then again, another question we can't answer. Who was originally supposed to win the 4-way tonight before they added Brock? No clue. It's going to be something that we may never find out, or it's just going to be a while till we find out. I don't know. I have no clue what the plan was originally for Brock and Roman or the WWE title match before it got changed. So, I mean, again, I think the next 48 hours is going to be very interesting. News coming out on this, why Brock got the title, what's going on with Roman, who was supposed, maybe we do find out by the time Raw comes on Monday who was supposed to win that match and be the WWE champion going into Raw. We don't even know if Brock's going to be on Raw this coming Monday. I haven't seen WWE, and I can check their Twitter really fast before we wrap this up. If they've announced it, they do have a picture here of Brock that just says, the Beast is unleashed. Who can stop? At Brock Lesnar. I didn't even know Brock had an actual Twitter. At Brock Lesnar. 1.4 million followers. And it's just a bunch of retweets of Heyman. And hasn't retweeted anything since April 4th, 2020.
Is it been that? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, literally, they're all Heyman retweets and a couple. Get this Brock shirt on WWE Shop. Interesting. I've really never added Brock Lesnar because I assumed he didn't have an at.
They should update his Twitter bio.
Right? What was this say? It says former WWE champion, 3-time Universal champion, and former UFC World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, he's got 1.4 million followers.
Current WWE champion.
Right? But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here, or joining us here, actually. But with that, you joined us here. But Huey, where can they find you otherwise when you're not here with me?
Yes, please subscribe to my pro wrestling podcast, In the Click, KLIQ. Subscribe to us wherever you get your audio podcasts at. Of course, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. We also got a YouTube page. So if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, that would be awesome. Go ahead, subscribe, watch the videos, leave a comment, smash that like button. Any sort of interaction, helps with the whole algorithm thing. We appreciate all the love and support there. Follow us on social media at In the Click as well. You can follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey 83. Appreciate all the support. If you go to my Twitter page, I recently posted a couple days ago. I do want to give a shout out to my boy Philip and Brian Tronick and Brandon. Those guys do an excellent podcast called The Bullet Cast. I was on their show a few days ago. We did an end of the year award show, the Bullet Cast Awards, just talking about the year in review, more or less. So that was a lot of fun. If you subscribe to their YouTube channel, The Bullet Cast, you can watch the video version there as well. So, hey, I appreciate all the love and support. It's a new year. Looking forward to just what more fun wrestling content I can get for you guys interview-wise. So please follow me there. If you follow us on YouTube, you can see our interviews with Bryan Danielson, Cody Rhodes, all the WWE superstars, Drew McIntyre, Bianca Belair, SummerSlam, press junket interviews. So I do want to give a big shout out to Tim for helping me with all those videos. So Tim, he's the brainchild who helps get all that content out to you guys as well. So together we'll make 2022 an awesome year for you guys. So thank you again for all the support in advance.
But with that, guys, again, thank you for joining us here. Remember, you can follow us. If you're watching on Twitch, you know where to find us. But it's twitch.com/PWU Unlimited, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and twitter.com/PWU Unlimited. You can also find us on Instagram or on Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. And yes, ULTD is the abbreviation of Unlimited. People ask all the time, what's ULTD? It's the abbreviation of Unlimited because we had an actual Facebook page that I took over from other people that were running it. One of the guys jacked the page, merged it with another page, and then they all disappeared, so I had to start it over.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Because, originally, I got brought in to help a Facebook group that was called Pro Wrestling Unlimited. I gave them the idea for the YouTube channel. They're like, go for it. We like the idea. We want to see what you can do with it. And then one of the guys just jacked the page, merged it with another random page, and then deleted it. Oh, and that had 300,000 followers on Facebook. Yeah.
Damn it.
So, anyways, thank you for joining us here. Have a great night. It's only Saturday, so for most of you, maybe you don't have to work tomorrow because tomorrow's only Sunday. I'm going to keep forgetting that. I'm going to think I'm going to wake up in the morning and go, Monday, what time are the kids getting here? Wait, never mind, it ain't Monday yet. So with that, guys, have a great night. Have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great 2022. I'm going to have to get used to saying that. Because I said 2020. I said 2020 till June.
So wait, you say 2022?
Wasn't that what it is? 2022?
Yeah.
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 Because I don't want to be saying 2021 anymore. I kept saying 20. I kept saying 2020 halfway into 2022, 2021 sometimes.
Gotcha. I hear you saying.
So I'm getting it down now. It's 2022. With that, guys, have a great night, and we'll see